rev. Oh! Here we go. Oh my goodness. That is amazing. Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is StormTrail, and in today's episode we're going to be looking back at my first creations. And right here you can see the very first thing I ever created when I bought this game, which was a few years ago. And yeah, it's definitely something. So we're going to be going through the top 5 old creations that I've made a long time ago, and then we're going to compare it with my most recent creation I've made. Yeah, there's a pretty big difference. So let's go ahead and get straight into this video. Alright, so from the intro you already seen this vehicle. It is my first creation I've ever made, and here's the cockpit here. Now this is not the first mark, this is a few generations after, but it is still the exact same hull. It just has a few more levers. Here you've got the left and right engines, then you've got both engines up here, then you've got a turbo engine just to go even faster. Now this is what I used in survival when I first spawned in, and it worked, I guess. I mean, now this was before I went to advanced. As you can see, those propellers aren't connected to anything, so this doesn't actually work right now, which kind of stinks because it's pretty cool. Because all I did was I basically took a ton of motors. Let me go ahead and show you the actual bottom of it. I took a ton of motors and I just kind of slapped them on the walls. As you can see here, this is the left power throttle, this is the right power throttle, this is the both power throttle, and that is the turbo, and then I've got a pump in here. While it does crank over, which that's also my lights, it will run, but I'm not going to get anything out of it. So yeah, this is all it does. It just kind of sits here and doesn't do anything. But you can see just the design itself. I really didn't know what I was doing. And most building games, when you start off and you have no idea what you're doing, you build a box. So that's what I did. I built a box. Now, since this thing doesn't do anything and it's kind of boring just kind of sitting here looking at it float, oh boy, it's going to explode. But we're going to go ahead and get onto the, oh no, we're going to go ahead and get onto the next creation, which actually works. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to the WoW Advanced. This is a vehicle that was originally created in creative mode, but because I wanted to learn advanced mode, I went ahead and made this. Now this thing, it's definitely a lot better than the first creation. I definitely learned a lot, especially when it comes to this whole. Now when it comes to painting, I kinda lost it there, but hey, it works. So let's go ahead and take a look at the inside of this vehicle. Now starting here at the door, there's no switch because apparently I forgot to add a switch. Therefore I just no clipped in here. But we've got 2 chairs here, which you can sort of look at the outside. And I mean, there's not much to it. We can go downstairs and you can see this thing is powered by 4 small engines, which the small engines way back then, I believe the engines have gotten a little bit of a buff. They are a bit stronger. And one thing that's interesting is here's my starter, right? I have my throttle lever here in the floor. So I've got to crank that, and then I can press my starter. As you can see, the lights turn on when I hit the starter. That is because in creative mode, in the old creative mode, since there was no advanced mode to actually turn on the engines and keep them running, it's sort of like a PID we have now, which can modulate the throttle, and once you turn the toggle button off, it just kills the engine. That's what it was like in beginning creative mode back then. Once you hit the thing, it would crank up and then it would turn off. So I just sort of put the lights on the starter because that was the best way to save a lot of area, especially in the cockpit view. Now, in a later version, which I'm going to show you really quick, it has much more engine power, much more fuel, and it is a lot more detailed. So let's go ahead and take a look at that one. But as you can see here, I don't know how I'm getting 82 RPS. I think the old torque and RPS meter that I put into this thing no longer works, and it's just kind of glitchy and bugged. So let's go ahead and get on to the better version of this. Ladies and gentlemen, I introduce you to the Hyper Evo. This is what I used a lot in my actual survival mode, as it was actually functioning. I had an actual sliding door. I could go in and it actually functioned. Now you can see down here, I'm going to show you the power this thing's got. It's a mess. It is an absolute mess down here. We've got 3 medium engines and we've got 3 small engines. Because of this, I consider this a V6, which doesn't make any sense at all. Now, because the engines have gotten a little bit of buff and the physics have changed, you're about to see why this can no longer be used at all. So as we're going here, we got to start it. Let's go ahead and give it some throttle. It seems fine, right? But once I go, this thing has too much power, and that was the big issue with this most of the time. Although, granted, it was not this bad. It was actually controllable, but the physics have changed now, and now if you limit it and then slowly give it max throttle, you can try, but it starts getting out of the water and then it starts gliding on top of the water. It is very strange, but it's actually more realistic. The physics in Stormworks back then were not like they are now. The physics now are much more realistic. As you see, we're starting to jump out of the water here, but then again, there's one more fatal flaw with this thing. As you can see, we're smoking. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Oh boy, it's exploding. That was one of the biggest issues I had with this, even back then, was that it was, yeah. Just take a look at it. It was highly explosive, and once it exploded, it didn't take long for it to sink. Which, yeah, the engine's explosions back then were a little bit more devastating, but the fire did not spread. So, yeah, you can see why the fire does spread now, but the engine explosions aren't as devastating. They still do a lot of damage to the surrounding area, but not like it did before. And yeah, this thing's just gonna hop around. And yeah, as you can see here, the torque and RPS meter in this thing is completely broken. It doesn't work at all. Okay, let's go ahead and stop it here. Let's try some waves. Let's see how this thing does against some waves. Yeah. Here we go. Full throttle. It's just gonna... Yeah, that's exactly what I thought it was gonna do. It's catching the wind, and it can't even move forward. Now, granted, when Stormworks first started, this wasn't a thing. None of this was a thing. Wind didn't affect your boat, or at least it didn't affect it to the point where you would actually notice it. Now that the engines have actually died because of fire damage, this thing was an absolute boss whenever I first used it, and I loved it. So it kind of stinks that it doesn't work anymore, but I am about to show you one of the craziest things, which was so powerful when I first got it. It's even more powerful now. This is the Hyper Evo V17. Now, why is it called the V17, you ask? Because it has 17 engines in it. 17! When I first made this, it was actually not that strong. Granted, it did go very fast, but it does not do anything near what it does now. Now, the cockpit of this thing is actually very nice. We've got our external lights and our cabin lights. I made sure I have 2 different sides for our co-captain and our scout. And here I have all my dials and everything like that, and a torque measure. So here we got gear and gear 2, our clutch. So let's go ahead and engage our clutch a little bit here. Go ahead and turn the key button on, and we're going to try and get out. Now, as you can hear, those engines revving up so high already. And that's because this thing, oh, I got stuck against the wall. Here we go, full rev. Oh no. Alright, let's try that again. Let's activate both gears. Alright, there we go. And give it some throttle. Now with both gears it's actually controllable. But who wants control? Let's go ahead and take off gear 2. They're starting to rev up, starting to gain speed, but not good enough. So we're going to engage gear 2 only, and we're going to fly! Oh no, it's already on fire. But this never happened. Oh! It's so destructive. And we're flying again. And we're flying again. This is amazing. Why have I never done this before? Why? This is beautiful. Oh, wow. Alright, we're okay. We need maximum revs. Gear 2 off. Here we go. Oh my goodness. That is amazing. Oh. Okay. My goodness, I can't even control this anymore. And we're just we're a submarine now. This is what this boat was destined to be. Oh, nope, now it's flying. It's a plane now. It's a plane. We are about to reach 1,000 degrees in temperature. Will we make it? Oh, we flipped. I think that's all over. I think it's all over. 890. Come on. Come on. Yes. 1,000 degrees Celsius, and it's still climbing. 120 RPS. What is this nonsense? Oh. It's great. Okay, we're gonna turn off that noise. It's still going. Wow. So, I want to show you the engine room of this before we move on to the next one, because, it's beautiful. Welcome to the engine room. Oh my goodness. Yes, this is all fuel tanks. I did not know how to make custom fuel tanks at this time, and these things all use fluid heat radiators instead of actually using the ocean. That is why it explodes so crazy. But look at all the piping. This is ridiculous. Why did I do this? This is insane. You've got your exhaust, you've got your air, you've got everything. It's just a bundled mess. It's absolutely ridiculous, but it's what I made, and I'm proud of it. It's so great, honestly. Oh, wow. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the next boat. The next boat I give to you is the AP Aqua. Now, this is the turbo version of the AP Aqua. I went ahead and skipped the standardized version of the AP Aqua and went straight to the turbo version. Now, the reason for turbo version is for these things right here. Because for some reason I put 3 compressors and then 1 jet combustion chamber. Why I did this, I don't know. Anyways, it works. So let's go ahead and go in here. For some reason I made the clutch painfully slow. So while I'm holding this down, let's go ahead and turn the lights on. Here we have the engine temps, the estimated fuel. Let's go ahead and turn the pumps on here. That should flow the fuel to the engines. We've got our speed measure here. We've got reverse. We've got turbo throttle. We got throttle here. Let's go ahead and max it out. And turn to the side. And let's start these engines. Oh! I did not remember this thing being so powerful too. Oh no. It flipped. Oh. Why me? Alright, let's go ahead and get this thing started here. Okay. See, I actually meant for this never to go. It usually only went about 24 to 23 to 30. And I guess now engines are just so powerful. Goodness. Okay. Let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. Alright, we're going to give it that much throttle. Turbo throttle max. Let's go ahead and turn to the side. Hit the fast gear. Compressions are going. Full throttle. Here we go. Oh. This thing is ridiculous. Oh boy, here we go. Okay. As you can see, our speed is starting to go crazy. It's ramping up even faster. Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. Here we go. Oh no. This is so bad. Here we go. We're going fast. Oh my goodness. Oh, we're really starting to go. 30, 40. We're hitting liftoff speeds. We are hitting liftoff speeds. We're hitting 40. We're hitting 50. Oh, there it is. There it is. What in the world? What is happening? What have I made? What have I made? What is this? This shouldn't. Oh, and it's blowing up. And it's blowing. Oh no. Oh, we're going straight down. Oh no. No! Alright, so now that you've seen just what this thing can do, I'm gonna go ahead and show you the engine bay of this thing. It only has 2 large engines, which actually is surprising me right now because it sounded and felt like this thing had so much more power to it. Now let's see here. We've got 2 gearboxes. I'm guessing these 2 were both on 3x1 because we're only using small propellers in this thing. And it's just got a ton of large fluid tanks. Again, I still didn't know how to make custom fluid tanks. I didn't even know how until way later on. But man, custom fluid tanks are amazing. But wow. And then here I've got my linear speed sensor, my fluid meter in case I needed to pump anything out of here. But that was just sort of it. And then here I've got another room. So let's go ahead and TP up in here. This was just like a secondary room just below the actual cockpit of the ship. And yeah, that's it for the AP Aqua. This is actually one of my main survival boats I used in the Arctic and much more. In fact, this was its intended purpose, was for the Arctic. So that's what I used it for, and it was a very good ship, very nice, and very awesome. So let's go ahead and move on to the final vehicle. Here I have the final vehicle, which, as you can see, my craftsmanship had really improved on this one. This is a speedboat. And not just no ordinary speedboat, a jet-powered speedboat. So here we go. We're going fast. We're going real fast, real quick. You know how it is. Here we go. Oh boy. Gotta go fast. Here we go. And we're going on top of the water, and we've had liftoff. There we go. You see, this is a speedboat beyond what you can imagine here. This is the ultimate definition of a speedboat. The best speedboat you can get is one that flies. Oh boy, and we're going straight back down to the ground. Oh boy. I forgot about this. It's absolutely uncontrollable. Oh, oh, hey, look, there we go. Yes, look at this. We're just doing flips for days. Oh, man, I forgot this thing. It was absolutely amazing. Wow, we got so close to the ocean floor there. I think we are now at max speed. Oh, oh, we just tapped it. And we're flying. Oh boy. And we're going straight back down. Oh, that was a hard hit. We are still going. Oh my goodness. Look at the damage on it. Oh wow. I don't know if I think we might be able to hit the ground one more time if it gets in a perfect angle, but for now it seems like it's getting itself into the air and not wanting to go back down. So, I'd call that a success. Did your speedboats look anything like this? If so, and you're still watching this, go ahead and comment. What should you comment? I don't know. Chicken nuggies. Whew, my goodness, that speedboat was insane. I told you guys I was going to show you what I have been working on most recently. And this is it here. This is the farm power. I'm still not very good at making names. But it is a big ATV. It is not a normal sized ATV. It's actually bigger than a normal sized ATV. And it's modular engine powered, which I decided to go with because this is so small you would not be able to fit a small engine in here and have it actually effective. So let's go ahead and turn this thing on. And let's start going. And right now I'm in the experimental version of the game. If I was not in the experimental version of the game, these tires, as you can see, I'm using very high-speed tires, which usually they have no grip. But in the experimental version of the game, the tires are actually perfect. They actually function like real tires. Instead of actually just spinning out all the time, they just sort of start drifting to one side when there's too much power given. Now it is still a little weird with the high-speed tires. It is kind of weird how the actual tire physics are calculated, but for the most part it is very cool, very useful, and it just sort of works. Which I think I just tore out the gearbox, which it's been forever since I've actually done that. Hold on, did I actually just break the gearbox? But yeah, this is what I've been working on, just a basic four-wheeler. And while it still has some little errors like spinning out in the back, that can simply be resolved by upping the grip of these rear wheel tires. And also shifting up, which I believe my thing is broken right now. As right now, it seems to be acting a little weird. Usually it doesn't act like this. I don't know. Maybe it's been broken in the latest update. Maybe I got to do some work on it. The hardest thing about these is actually cooling them, as this single heat radiator just doesn't seem to do it. So I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work, but it's pretty cool. Oh, I forgot. There is one thing. I actually have to press up the up arrow on my keyboard in order to actually engage the fluid pump, which will actually turn on the heat. Now you can see the temperature of the actual fluid in the heat radiator is crazy. So that's why it wasn't working. But thank you guys so much for watching. That's going to be the end of today's episode. If you enjoyed looking at what I'm working on now and what I had made a while back when I first got this game, man, that was cool. That was so fun. That I did not expect all of my boats to just fly, like, at all. I fully did not expect them to just go flying. But thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Today's Bible verse is 2 Corinthians 12:10. That's why I take pleasure in my weaknesses and in the insults, hardships, persecutions, and troubles that I suffer for Christ. For when I am weak, then I am strong. Thank you guys so much for watching today's episode, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless you.